Hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm David Shapiro, Mayor of the City of Calabasas, and on behalf of my colleagues and the entire city, I want to welcome everybody today to the announcement that Calabasas will be an official host city for the World Special Olympics Games, LA 2015. This is a wonderful opportunity for a partnership with the athletes, our community, and our businesses. There are a lot of people to thank for their contributions so far to date and their contributions that will be going forward. It will take all the time we have to do so, so we will have an opportunity in the next year to do so, but thank you, and you know who you are. I do want to acknowledge a few people who are here today. First, starting with my colleagues, Mayor Pro Tem Lucy Martin, Council Member Mary Sue Maurer, Council Member James Bazagian, Council Member Fred Gaines, and of course our outstanding City Manager Tony Corrales. I also want to take the opportunity to thank one of our main partners in this ongoing effort, which will be a community-wide effort, which is the CFO of the Calabasas Chamber of Commerce, Bridget Carl. And I also want to take the opportunity to introduce another partner, the Deputy Chief of Development Resources Operations at the MRCA at King Gillette Ranch, Marcia Feldman, where the athletes will be housed. We are also privileged to have, on behalf of the Special Olympics, the LA 2015 President and CEO, Patrick McClanahan, who you'll hear from shortly. And then here with his father and coach, Gary Wells, the Special Olympic World Games Global Messenger, who you'll hear from also, Alan Wells. Also want to acknowledge the President and CEO of the Valley Economic Alliance, who's here and will be actively involved in the World Games, Gregory Krikorian. And I saw in the back our very own Calabasas Swim and Tennis Center swim team that will be participating and has been training here in Calabasas for the World Games. Let's give them all a hand. In 1968, the Special Olympics were founded by Eunice Kennedy Shriver. In 1977, the first ever World Special Olympics Games were held in Chicago. At those games, there were approximately 500 athletes from a dozen countries. In 2015, the Los Angeles World Games will have over 7,000 athletes from over 170 countries. This will be the biggest event in Southern California since the 1984 Olympics. It's incredible. On a personal level, I've been lucky enough to be involved with Special Olympics since the 70s. I've had the pleasure of volunteering at the Southern California State Games held at Long Beach State and UCLA. And I can tell you one thing, that my time volunteering, I've gotten so much more out of it than I ever could possibly put into it. What I learned from the athletes, the men and women, the young boys and their families and girls, is something that I will carry with me forever. And I look at our local Boy Scouts who are here, and I know they'll want to be involved as well. It's a great opportunity for our youth and our community to be involved and change lives, especially their own. The motto of Special Olympics, among others, is changing lives through sports. It is so true. I had the pleasure of meeting the World Global Ambassador for the Special Olympics, Alan Wells, a few minutes ago. I just want to tell you a little about him before he comes up and wows you with his speech. He is a local resident. He's from Canoga Park. He has participated for the past 6 years in the Special Olympics in both bowling and basketball. I see our CIF champion Calabasas High coach John Pillar is here today. Welcome. And no, you cannot steal him for your team. I'm sorry, but he's offered to help with the guys next year. He is a very proud participant and a very proud member of the Special Olympics community and family, and he's a very engaging and pretty funny guy as well. I ask you to, everybody to welcome, give a big round of applause to Alan Wells.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, for that wonderful introduction. Hi, hang on. Hi, I'm Alan Wells. I stand 6 feet 8 inches tall. I'm a very large global messenger for Special Olympics. I compete in basketball. My size makes me stand out on the court. Stand out on the court. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay. But growing up, this was not a good thing because I was different from others. And I was not able to try out on my school basketball team. At Special Olympics, we're a part of a team and we belong. And we have fun doing it. We're here tonight to celebrate with the coming, hang on, let me start over. We're here tonight to celebrate what is coming to Los Angeles next year, the Special Olympics 2015 World Games. I'm so excited to have your city, you and your city, a part of this grand celebration of sports competition. The athletes you will touch here with your open hearts will be remembered for years to come. This joy will spread around the world, and they return home. They return home and remember the good times they had here in Los Angeles. May I have Patrick, our president and CEO, to come to the mic and continue the good news that is coming. Thank you.
Great job, Alan. Great job. Hey, let's hear it for Alan, huh? And I know that we have a couple other athletes and coaches in the crowd. Could you raise your hand? Other athletes, Special Olympic athletes and coaches, raise your hand. Let's hear it for these guys. So thank you all for being here. We're very excited the city of Calabasas is joining us in this incredible event. There's estimated to be 200 million people around the world with intellectual disabilities. They're often the most misunderstood, mistreated, marginalized people in all societies around the world. Mrs. Shriver believed that she could change the lives of people with intellectual disabilities through the power of sport. And she also audaciously, which if you've ever met her, you know, sister of John F. Kennedy and wife of Sergeant Shriver, they did big things, and they believed that big things could be accomplished, like Peace Corps and all those great things around the world. She believed audaciously that she could change the lives of people with intellectual disabilities and that she could change the world one community at a time. That when communities come in contact with our athletes, that perceptions change. And people understand the value that people with intellectual disabilities have in every fabric of communities. That little vision that she had has resulted in a mission of year-round sports training and competition, 32 different events over summer and winter. And that's where the athletes develop the self-confidence, the determination. They're able to experience joy and show courage, and that's transforming to their lives. And also good health, and that's a key part for our population. And that little vision that Mrs. Shriver had back in the 60s today has resulted in over 4.2 million athletes in 177 countries around the world. And this last year, they participated in over 70,000 events under the Special Olympic banner around the world. The signature event has become the World Games. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the World Games, but it's just like the Olympic Games. It's every 2 years, alternating between summer and winter. It's during the off years of when the Olympic Games are, so it stands by itself. And it's really exploded internationally. In 2003 is in Dublin, Ireland, and that's where Nelson Mandela and Bono and U2 and Bill Clinton and Muhammad Ali all came out in support of the Games. 4 years later, the next Summer Games were held in Shanghai, and that's where President Hu Jintao went from host town to host town, like you're participating in. He went to host town, sharing the importance of people with intellectual disabilities to his community. And today, as a result of those efforts, there's nearly 1 million athletes in programs throughout China. And they estimate it to be 1.5 million by the time our games happen. And then 4 years later, the next World Games was in Athens, Greece. And that's when we were bidding to bring the games to Los Angeles. In the midst of the economic turmoil and rioting in the streets, the President and Prime Minister hosted us in the Parliament. And 2 of our athletes presented them with a resolution calling for sports to be incorporated in special education in Greece. People with intellectual disabilities were still segregated into separate facilities and didn't have physical activity. So our games, as the mayor mentioned, incredible, largest event this area has hosted since the '84 Games, 7,000 athletes from over 177 countries, 3,000 coaches, supported by 30,000 volunteers. They'll participate in 25 sports over 9 days. And opening ceremony is July 25th, just like the 32 Olympics and the '84 Olympics will be in the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. Olympic Villages, 6,500 beds at USC, 3,500 beds at UCLA. But what you're participating in starts the whole games. The first 3 days that they arrive at LAX, 7,000 athletes, 3,000 coaches. We're responsible for those 10,000 athletes and coaches. They will go to Loyola Marymount where they'll be greeted, and from there, they'll be registered and load their buses and head out to their host town for 3 days of getting acclimated to the time period, putting on pep rallies, participating in cultural events. You can imagine what a great grassroots opportunity that is for Special Olympics and spreading the mission of acceptance and inclusion of people with intellectual disabilities. So that's what you're participating in, and we are so grateful. In fact, Alan has a token of our appreciation and a reminder of the commitment that you've made over the next 15 months as you plan for that. So Mayor, if you come over, Alan would like to present to you with an official Special Olympics World Games flag. And I want you to know what that logo means so that when you see this flag flying high over this city, and I'm sure it's going to fly high over the city somewhere, right? Absolutely. That logo starts with the celebratory pose. And the celebratory pose represents the courage, the determination, and the joy of our athletes. That's where it starts. Inside the circle of acceptance and inclusion, and that's our mission, creating awareness that leads to acceptance and inclusion. And the multicolors represent the diversity of 177 countries coming to Los Angeles, and the dynamic of that diversity being perfectly mirrored by the diversity of our region. And we can share this message of acceptance and inclusion with every single corners of our community as these 177 countries come to Los Angeles. So, Mayor, congratulations. Thank you so much. We are so appreciative, and we think it's going to be an incredible opportunity for you. Thank you.
Very much. Thank you. And if you could both stay up here, I appreciate it, Patrick. And I'm going to call up my colleagues and to join me if they would. And of course, our city manager. We have a proclamation from the city of Calabasas. I will read it, which we will be presenting to you, and formally, once again, we'll be doing it shortly. It could have more humor than this, I agree. All right. I'll work on it. It's really a happy occasion. It reads, whereas the Special Olympics World Games will be held during July 25th to August 2nd, 2015, and whereas the Special Olympics World Games will be the world's largest sports and humanitarian event in 2015, and whereas 7,000 athletes from 177 countries will compete in the Special Olympics World Games LA 2015, and whereas the city of Calabasas is proud to be named as a host town for the Special Olympics World Games LA 2015, and now therefore the City Council of the City of Calabasas and our host town committee do hereby welcome the athletes, coaches, staff, volunteers, families, and spectators of the Special Olympics World Games LA 2015 and proclaim July 21st to July 24th, 2015 to be Calabasas Host Town Days. And this is present to you. We also want to present you with this very special City of Calabasas key to the city. Alan, we're going to ask you to accept this along with Patrick. It reads, Calabasas opens its doors to the Special Olympics World Games LA 2015, dated April 23rd, 2014.
One more picture? You have to find the lock, though.
And I will be giving you city pins, an official requirement since the days of our Mayor Emeritus Dennis Washburn and former Mayor Fred Gaines. City pins to each of you, and we have some others as well for the family. On behalf of our city, I want to thank everyone for being here. I want to especially thank you both for being here and all of the staff that you brought with you and the opportunity to be a host town for Calabasas. Excuse me. That was funny. Okay. I do want to thank, a special thanks to those I've already mentioned. I know with over 500,000 new people coming into the area for the World Games, it's going to be a wonderful opportunity for businesses, and I know our Chamber of Commerce will be leading the way in that regard as well. And thank all of you for being here today. It's really nice to see so many friendly faces who are here for a great cause. This is a great first step to the opening ceremonies in July of 2015. Thank you all.